I'd been talking to Sam on Tinder for a couple of weeks, and everything seemed perfect. He was kind, attentive, and just the right amount of mysterious. His conversations were full of charm, something they call green flag nowadays. When he finally asked me out, I was more than excited. I had a good feeling about him. One evening, he invited me to his place. He lived in a quiet neighborhood with a cozy, neatly kept house. We shared drinks, laughed over silly stories, and had a great time. But there was one thing I couldn't help but notice. He had a pet cockatoo. It sat in a large cage in the corner of the living room, its bright white feathers catching the light. "He's a bit of a talker," Sam chuckled. As I admired the bird, something unusual happened. The cockatoo tilted its head and locked its beady eyes on me, not blinking. For a few seconds, it didn't move. Then, to my horror, it screeched in a voice that was eerily human. "Help! Help! Help!" I laughed nervously, trying to play it off. That's a strange one," I said, but my smile faltered. The cockatoo continued, its voice now a mix of panic and desperation, repeating the word help over and over. Sam seemed to notice my discomfort. "Oh, I am sorry," he said quickly, his face turning apologetic. "He gets moody like that sometimes. Poor things watch too much TV, I guess." But the unsettling cry of the bird kept echoing in my ears, and I found myself feeling more uneasy by the second. I tried to hide it, but the atmosphere had shifted. I tried to give Sam some space to calm his pet, so I politely excused myself. "I think I should head home," I said softly, smiling stiffly. "It's getting late after all." Sam seemed so embarrassed, apologizing for the bird's strange behavior. I quickly gathered my things and left. I saw his eyes seem to linger a little too long on me as I walked out the door. Over the next few days, I texted Sam, but he didn't reply. I didn't think much of it at first. Maybe he was just busy. But days turned into weeks, and soon I stopped reaching out. I figured maybe he found someone else, someone who was more pet-friendly, or maybe he just wasn't as into me as I thought. It stung, but I moved on. Then, 1 month later, I saw Sam's face on the local TV news. My heart sank. The headline read, "Local man arrested for kidnapping attempt. Victim escapes with bruises." The anchor described how a woman had been lured to the man's home and narrowly escaped before he could harm her. She had taken refuge in a convenience store and was quietly escorted to the police station to report the crime. As the news continued, the anchor's tone grew darker. Authorities have also uncovered the remains of another woman buried in the suspect's backyard. The autopsy revealed she had been dead for 6 weeks. The screen flashed to a picture of the victim. My blood ran cold. The woman in the photo looked exactly like me. My heart raced as the pieces began to fall into place. The cockatoo's strange behavior, its haunting cries, all of it came rushing back. Then, the final realization hit me like a ton of bricks. Cockatoos can't really talk. They can only mimic voices they have previously heard. The cockatoo hadn't been frightened by me. It hadn't been calling for help. It had been mimicking the final, desperate cries of the woman who had been there before. The woman whose face, so similar to mine, the bird had remembered vividly from that fateful night, and now it had fallen to me to understand. I was almost too late.